Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
What's up, Laugh Therapy? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Laugh Therapy, where we believe laughter is the best medicine for life's woes. I'm your host and laughter guru herself, Jeaux King, and I've got my beautiful co-host with me,
JD, a.k.a. Sunshine.
And we have a comedy titan in our midst, guys. I'm super excited for the guest that we have for you today. Get ready to roll on the floor with laughter as we dive into the comedic universe with the one and only Butch Bradley.
Thank you. It's so cool to be here. You're the fastest moving comedian on the planet.
Thank you. I'm super
You're
excited.
Crushing it. Yeah.
I'm super excited. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to tackle your funny bones and explore all things comedy, from the highs and lows of the industry to the hilarious memories that have us in stitches. There's no topic too outrageous for us to tackle, so join us as we uncover the secrets behind the laughter and delve into the world of comedy. Get ready to laugh, ponder, and have your sides splitting. Thank you for joining us today.
Wow, that was like poetic. I liked it. That was nice.
Everybody.
Turn the lights down. Joe's gonna read us a little bedtime story about comedy. Comedy never sounded sexy to me before. That was amazing.
That's amazing.
It's like it was more like, you know, you're reading a book and we're all resting around the fireplace.
That's amazing.
This-
I received that.
That chicken crossed the road to get to the other side. He was a naughty little chicken. Yeah, what am I saying? It's good to be here, though. It's cool.
We loved having you.
I feel special being with you two. This is good.
Oh, no, we love having
We're
you. You know
super
we love us
excited
some
to
Butch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So today, I'm hopping kind of out of the host seat, and Jess is going to ask questions to Butch as a veteran comedian, and then as a up-and-coming comedian myself, I will try and keep up.
Oh, cool. I like this. All right, cool.
With the questions, so that he's not the only one in the seat.
This is
with
not like
these-
Dateline either.
Yes,
This is-
with these questions.
This is nigga line.
Yeah. Yo.
Yes, it's about to
You
get
throw it
wild.
around again, it might be Dateline. I'll just disappear. They'll be like, he shouldn't have heard that either. He can't say it, he can't hear it. Remove him. And it'll be like three white women killing me, too. With a big sign, for all the black people out there. Karens have gotten together to kill him because he heard the N-word.
He listened to OK.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
so
snap.
crazy. I feel like that's embedded now. Like if someone says, like, I heard it today. But I'm not racist at all. And I feel like, hey, listen, I was on a show. I was set up. They brought me in the back room and made me rinse my mouth first. I had no idea it was a trap.
I'm sweating already.
Right.
God.
We're about to
Lord.
have so much fun, guys. We have a policy here at the station where anyone who comes in has to wash their hands and rinse their mouth out with Listerine. It's just a hygiene
You
policy.
can't be funky.
We're deterring. We're taking preventative measures, and he walked in and automatically thought it was a setup. He was like, I got to do what? Is there weed in it? What is this?
Yeah, I really did. My New Jersey was like, oh, wait, is this drugs? Like, what is this? I'm like, man, I can't, what am I on film? I really did. I was
What's
like,
happening right now?
I'm like, this show started 10 minutes ago, and they're like, look, he keeps drinking the scope. Look him rinse again. What an idiot.
Yo, God. I love you so much.
Yeah,
Butch.
good. I love
We
you
love
guys,
us
too.
so much.
You're the best. Okay, so we're going to get started.
All right.
All right.
Oh, my Lord.
Can't.
Yeah.
Okay,
first
so how
question.
do you strike a balance between using your comedy to address serious topics and ensuring that your audience feels comfortable and engaged in the conversation?
Man, I feel like I'm supposed to have a pen and paper and I
This is your prodigy's questions.
I just felt like my professor popped a quiz and I'm like, whoa, wrong class. Wrong class. You know what? Everything, the whole key, it's just like family, I dive into serious topics like, whatever it might be, death or life or, racism or whatever it is, and then find the honest line, and then I just say what I feel, and as long as I'm omitting it from a good location, I give my audience credit in knowing, like, oh, this guy's cool, or, I've lost people, so I dialogue on death. And to me, pointing out what we're all afraid of in those areas is where the hit is or the joke is. You know what I mean? Right now, just for the sake of the area we're already on, like from how you started, white people do not want to be racist. Like, you could really mess someone up just going, you're not racist, are you? They would immediately be like, no, look, I'm not racist. Here's a 30% discount. You got both those purses. You know what? I'll give you 40% if you'll sign a document here saying that I was never racist in your presence, and can I have a selfie, please?
Right, you are now my new friend.
So right now we just dialogued a weird little edge the three of us are comfortable with, but anyone else isn't. I left them with the playful, over-the-top area to dance on, and it depends on my audience. In a live show, on my show, I try to push it as much as I want, because I'm coming from a good location. Like 2 nights ago, a woman said to me, it's so weird what they'll say to you on stage, and she said, I lost my sister, that's why we're here. And I immediately let her know, I lost my brother as well. And I said, have you ever seen a ghost? She said, I saw my sister, I lost my sister. And I immediately wanted to lighten it, so I truthfully did lose my brother years ago. And I was like, you know what, I lost my brother, and I don't want that experience. He was 6'3". I would pass out if he showed up at the edge of my bed. So I told him, right after he passed away, I made a prayer. I said, you come back as a hummingbird. Yeah, right. So, that's kind of how I address it. Truth, and then I just add whatever my brain does.
And just
I
kind
love
of
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I would.
What about you?
I would agree with that. Well, for starters, I try to come from a place of knowing. So if we're speaking about race, and even if I'm speaking of another race, I'll usually go toward one that I feel that I know a little bit better. Growing up in San Antonio, Texas, I was very privy to like Mexicans, right? So I know a lot about the culture. I know a lot about the familyhood and the way that they operate. So I may speak on something like that that's super relatable to them. So I try and stay in a little bit of a place of knowing, because I'm a little bit newer to comedy, and I don't know some of the tips and tricks, I guess, that would tie the generations of funny together, because something that might be funny to maybe 40 and under is not funny to 45 and above, so I'm still learning some of those tips and tricks. But I would say just letting your audience give you the benefit of the doubt, and showing your personality and who you are from the beginning is really important, and setting that vibe and setting that understanding so that the crowd knows who they're dealing with, because they'll give you that benefit of the doubt if you didn't know, right? You
actually said that's the right answer, actually.
You're surprised?
Well, no, you're right. You said it really, eloquently. You have to speak from a place of knowledge. That's how you should. When people write, outside their knowledge area or their circle, it's silly. You're write about you, speak from your knowledge, and if you don't know, gain knowledge on it, but don't speak as if you are. And
right, or be prepared to eat shit.
Yeah, and you'll and I'll see a lot of comics try and write on a sensitive topic, and it's interesting because I'll see people try and write on a topic, whatever it may be, and I'll be like, just like you said, you were surrounded by Mexican people, so you had like Mexican knowledge, you felt loose. Like, my girl's Mexican, I have sex with one, so I know a little. I know when she's yelling at me, she doesn't want me to be turned on, but whoa,
I love it so much.
Like, I'm a man, baby.
Right, like angering her is hot, but I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but let's go upstairs. Do you need agua? No, but like, you'll see comics force a bit, like maybe they don't know anything about the Latin culture or black culture or whatever culture, but they want to be involved in that because that's the topic, and they'll force write it. And that is...
You can end up losing the very audience you were trying to...
Well, they all know. Everybody
include.
Knows. If that audience happens to be what you force-written a bluff topic on, and you grew up in Beverly Hills, they're going to see it. You know, it's going to sound flat. So you're right.
Yeah, you also have to give your audience the benefit of the doubt. Like, they're not idiots. Come on, man.
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy and I'm going to lose. Oh, don't look at me. We're in competition. We're not friends. Go ahead. Next question.
Wait, who wants to answer it first?
I'm all in. How much do I have?
You got 1,300.
She's tricky. Do they know that she was in the military and like she looked sweet, but she was like a...
No, they know about her.
Yeah.
But you're snitching on me, y'all.
Yeah, they know about her. They know about her.
She's like sweet, but she's got she's crushing it for those at home. But a side note, like I throw people up that I want to help, but normally seasoned comedians who are doing well, I'll throw into a window of 5 to 7. But I knew with your background you were already funny with all your followers and everything you were doing, and with the knowledge that you had. But you're funny naturally, but you're advanced for your level. And hopefully I get your head really big and I win this Jeopardy thing. You're not typical. You know, you have a huge background. All that knowledge comes, you know. There's people that have been doing comedy longer than you, and they'll just randomly try and write a joke about whatever, you know. So
well, thank you, Butch. I appreciate that. Look at y'all.
Oh, you're trying to get some extra points. I see you, Butch.
It's one of Libby.
I see you. Okay, so Butch, have you ever had a joke or routine that initially bombed, but you did a little tweaking and became a crowd favorite?
You know, I've had a lot of things bomb, 100%. Like you,
I don't see you bombing.
Yeah, well, at this point, I can sneak around it, or if I dive a little, I can recover. But you eating it or doing, as we call it, eating it or doing poorly. You have to do that, and I think I've spoken to you about it. I was like, hosting can be really hard. So, like, if I host tomorrow, it won't be as easy as going up like The Last Guy or Here Comes, Joe King. They're just like, here's the host. You've seen him everywhere, but you'll never recognize him. and they don't even say your name, and the audience is like, you're first. I'm going to get a cocktail. Anyway, what I was saying was, this girl found down the steps. It's got 1 million hits. It's hilarious. Like, they just diss you. But when bits dive, you can rewrite them. And I watched Chris Rock prep 2 specials ago in Hollywood. He just happened to be showing up late night everywhere. I did not think, this is like the ignorance of every level of comedy. I know he's a genius. I happen to be friends with the family. Tony Rock's like my brother. I'm name dropping a little, but
I see you. You getting some points.
Yeah. But I couldn't believe that I saw him a month later doing exactly what you said. That's higher level. He tweaked it all, and his special was incredible. And I just was so confused as how he did that. My gift more is in listening to reaction, and some people can really write. So, I've redone things to make them work, but that's the long answer. Okay, win again.
A joke or routine that initially bombed. I don't know. Can you think of one, man?
Not any that have bombed, but there's
what a trick question between a relationship.
There's jokes that you've improved on.
Yeah. I would say one of my favorite jokes is my kid joke, and adding the Prince of Egypt to it. I was like,
and I've heard the kid joke like 100 times, but when you added the Prince of Egypt in there,
nice.
I think adding that.
You heard me laughing when I was filming.
Yeah. You're supposed to be recording it for me.
Yeah, there's that.
But I'd say that one. The kid joke was already funny, so I wouldn't say that it was a bomb. But there are jokes that I feel like I just have a moment that I can add something to from somewhere else, and it's like puzzle pieces, and I love that with comedy. You can take a bit from this joke and plug it in somewhere else, and it works way better than it did where you originally put it. I'd say that.
And there's been times when you haven't had the right energy for a performance. It wasn't a bomb.
Let's go to the film and we're going to show you.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. But I don't think you've ever just bombed. I haven't been there while you bombed. But
I think bombing is perception, because somebody else could have thought that I was bombing. I could have thought I was bombing. I think it's all just.
It is true that some people will you know, a lot of comedians, I would say the gift of making people laugh is the inability to hear it. So you'll hear always comedians go, God, that was terrible, but I'm like, what? That was terrible. Whoa, you know, and you're right. Some people in the audience, that's why there's an audience, you know. You're gonna have this section, enjoy that, you know. I mean, I have a suicide bomber joke. That joke is so crazy.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. It's basically, I can do it really fast. But,
all right, go ahead.
So basically, you know, there's a religious character that convinces this guy to blow himself up, right? Mm-hmm. I believe in God, but blow myself up, not gonna happen. I've even had bad days. Blow myself up, not gonna happen. But if I was ever going into mass and my priest was like, come here, I gotta talk to you. And I'm like, oh, really? What's going on? And he's like, you know, I talked to God last night. He said he wants you to blow up the mall tomorrow. Me? I haven't been to mass in weeks. Whoa, there are so many better Catholics in this room, you know? What about Cindy? She's here every Friday, you know? No, he wants you. All right, how does he want me to do it? He wants you to put underwear on that blow up. You know what? I'm going to have to hear that from the source.
Yeah, tell him to call my line.
But a really edgy bit, especially like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, because it's an older bit. I wrote it actually in front of the troops because the troops were open to it, man. Mm-hmm. And I was given a list of rules, but I'm like, they want to laugh at a real piece of material, you know, and that falls back to our first one, edgy, dark, but like has the power to in a non-suicide bomber way.
I love that. I love that. Can you share a funny experience from a comedy tour or road trip?
Oh yeah, I have. Let's see, what do I have? This is kind of funny, and I'll throw it out since you know you had service. It's a really good. It's just there's so many. We're so blessed with the green room feeling of the stories of the road. But so I did Iraq with Ralphie May, a comic who was really popular, passed away a couple years ago. And he was with his girlfriend who was literally like 5'2", like 90 pounds, and another comedian, Bob Marley. Everybody had all of their things. You're in the Middle East. It's 135 degrees. We're filthy. We're excited to be there. It's terrifying. I had to go up in front of like 7,000 troops. I had nothing. I had no clothing. I only had blue jeans and a shirt, and all of my gear was completely lost. I'm not complaining. I want to do a show. I have nothing to wear. The only thing that I could put on was Ralphie's girl's little fluorescent tight, like workout gear pants.
Oh my God.
And I had a little tight fluorescent top. And they're crying. I had to go out in front of like 5,000 troops. And I was so New Jersey Irish mad. I didn't know what to do because I'm trying to be funny. But they were laughing nonstop as I approached the mic for minutes and minutes and minutes. And I was growing more angry. I'm like, this is not funny. They lost my stuff. You know, like I'm in Southwest, you know what I mean? Like, I want my equipment back. Whoever's out there. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, no.
It was funny, man. I really was in this little outfit. But there's so
God,
many
do you have
fun
any
stories.
pictures?
I have somewhere I have pictures. I have tons of pictures of doing shows with the troops, but I probably conveniently deleted my little outfit. Like just like 3 inches above my shoes. Like it was so bizarre. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh God.
I'm trying to think. There's so much more fun stories than that, but.
Okay, so babe, how do you deal with audience expectations and the challenges of catering to diverse tastes?
Well, I think it's a little bit easier for me in the sense of my race. I feel like you're giving a little bit more slack as a black female comic.
Really?
Yeah. In my opinion, when it comes to certain things, I can say, because who gonna check me? It's just all. It's like
who gonna check me, boo?
But like Butch just said, one of the main things that he feels that white people are afraid of is being called racist. So you already have to watch the way you're going to approach it with whatever it is that I'm speaking about. And then I'm almost every minority as far as being black, female, gay, and autistic, and a veteran. It's like, where are you going to come at me to try and, change
You're
what it is that I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm like, what are you going to say to me to where you feel that, where you're going to be like, oh, I can prove you wrong. It's not like I went on stage and pretended to be a surgeon. I'm a lot of things. I've lived life as a lot of things, being, just being a human. So I feel like I kind of get a little bit of a slack with that, because I feel like people want to like you already. But also I would say with diversity, I just speak to people. I'm not necessarily speaking to a particular race or culture or anything like that. In my comedy, I'm talking about family. I'm talking about my kids. I'm talking about relationships. And no matter what race or religion that you are a part of, family, kids, life, just life things. You've watched movies about the military. So when I'm speaking about my experience and it's the complete opposite of those movies, that's funny. So I think that I handle diverse crowds by taking away the diversity. I take away what makes you different, and I speak about the things that make us the same. And I think that's one of the things that I absolutely love about being on stage.
All right, you getting extra points.
You
can't even say nothing.
Yeah. Well, no, you know what? It's interesting because that just says even more like, so, being around comedy for so long and hearing so many stories from people of all those backgrounds, female, black, gay, whatever. Female comics will call me and they're like, hey, I'm on the road. What do I do? I've always heard how hard it is. It's really cool for you to for you to approach it from who you are as an individual. And that just states a lot about your background. And I also think I actually approach it, diversity, that's a really advanced comedy statement, that you approach it as you. You do release the room of feeling that you're one category. And I think that's just your life knowledge. And that's what's felt from you. And that, and that's what I do. I think my audience is really mixed. It's very Los Angeles. It's very New York. A lot of the clubs can get a little stale white, and I don't mean that like I want a specific audience, but I do prefer a feeling of everybody there from different backgrounds, so I can hear my comedy properly. Like workshops in Hollywood or a Ruby Tuesday, or like I want to be able to work and be like my comedy's honest in all forms. Mm-hmm. But that's what I do, because when I travel, like I was the first comic in Malaysia out of the States. Wow. I was the first non-Muslim.
Trying to one up you, babe.
No, like the first non-Muslim on the big television show in Malaysia, and I think a lot of reason, like Singapore and Hong Kong, and I had a residency in China. It's crazy, but I think it's exactly what you said. I just think family, they all have mothers, mm-hmm. parents, uncles, aunts. They love them. They hate them. Mm-hmm. These are the cultural elements that I need to know, to respect, and to know those are guarded about each individual culture, and then get in and play. Mm-hmm. And I can play with it, but respectfully. Yeah. And that's how I think the best you comes out, and
I agree.
It's a human element, but I think humans aren't at that point yet. They still break it down into these categories, which is a shame, mm-hmm. but comedy gives you a place to sort of bring it together, if you do
just
it well.
Blur the lines a little bit,
yeah.
and it's so fun to do. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to play just a quick game.
Okay.
If you had to build the perfect comic.
Yeah.
Out of 3 different comedians.
Okay.
What you got, Butch?
100% I'm starting with Chappelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
You with us.
I love Chappelle. I mean, every level of Chappelle. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a guy who started at 15 riding the bus to go do shows, coming home to mom, like the comedic, quirky, weird comic when he was young. Like he went through all the phases. I mean, I could early Def Comedy Jam. I'd probably take 9 out of 10 of them. I mean, God, now it's changing my head. Bernie Mac, Chappelle, Pryor. Now it looks like Carlin. I know I'm up to 4, but it's hard because and Chris Rock, but periods of Chris Rock. But Chappelle's my number 1, so I'll put Chappelle. Oh, sugar, shit.
You can say shit. It's
Black
fine.
people are amazing. I love black people. That distracts everybody. I love gay people, straight people, black people. Mexicans are amazing too.
All the people.
Hola, amigo. Yo. So, Chappelle, Carl, this is why I can't do drugs or drink. I'm already out there, man. I'm already out there. Like, I was the kid in school where the teachers are like, what's wrong with that one? Chappelle, Carlin, maybe for now Bernie Mac. Those 3, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Bernie Mac, man. Whoa.
That's her favorite.
He is my
Really?
favorite
Ooh,
comedian,
Bernie Mac and Kings of Comedy? Holy.
A1. A1.
Oh, and I loved
A1.
everybody, but they blurred out with him.
Oh, yeah.
That's what fucking put your hand in my fucking cookie jar. Fucking tell me whose house it is.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
Oh, I miss Bernie,
Yeah.
man.
There's people out there
He
like,
was
he
on my
doesn't know
list. I
Bernie
wanted to
Mac.
get him too.
Motherfucker, I know Bernie Mac.
I love it. What about you, babe?
Oh, that's a hard. Because
It'd be great if you listed like 3 unfunny white people. John Smith from Iowa. Karen, she's good. And then Tina's really good. Just so you what?
I would go. I think we have 2 of the same. I'd go Chappelle, Bernie, and probably Pryor.
Yeah, see, of course Pryor's where you start. But I kind of like only had 3. You
Yeah,
know?
no, I
And
understand.
Carlin was like such a person who his ages came through his writing. He went through sections where he was like a cheesy TV dude, and then his writing escalated. He was like a stoner, and he was hip. He was the hippy dippy dude, and then he became older, and he was like really where maybe we are now. And then he got sad and angry, and he was like, there's no God. So he just sort of fit all the phases of a human, and his writing, man, he would say something that you're like, I hate that he's right,
I feel like you cannot be a comedian without really living your life.
Yeah, Mitch
Like, you've
Hedberg
gotta
was great
live.
too. Mitch Hedberg was great, but
Yeah.
Chappelle really has done some things that no one else has done. He has, and he's challenged by a diverse community. I felt like he was saying, I love you. My interpretation was, I love you. Whether right or wrong or whatever anyone's opinion is, I felt like he really was a comedian, but he was also sort of like, it felt like a family member reaching out to everyone, like, I'm being misunderstood right now. I'm playing with you. I understood totally how some people could be offended, but if you listen to this guy, his evolution, he really is just, he didn't have to get on stage and just dialogue. Most comedians will sell the fuck out and be like, and give me my money, next movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, I
Chappelle,
totally agree.
in comedy, you can die at any second. At any second, it's over. You got your brain fries. He opened up naked in his last special and was trying to dialogue through everything. Whether he's right or wrong or whatever, that's really a crazy high level as a human, Especially overstepping his money. He didn't have it. You know what I mean? He did it. And he's just there. He's there.
Agreed. Shout out
We-
to Dave
we
Chappelle.
totally
He is
agree with you,
amazing.
yeah.
We would love to have him on this show as well.
All right, Butch, can you talk about the balance between pushing boundaries with your comedy and being mindful of potentially being offensive?
I think that I'm disrespecting my audience if I am too mindful of them. I mean, you know what's funny? Some people won't joke with people in their like 70s and 80s in an audience. That is like, so they find that completely insulting. These people have all fucked, done drugs, drank, did shit, been arrested, did this, did that, been married, did that, don't.
They've experienced
and they're
life to the
facing
fullest.
death.
Yeah.
And you're gonna like bring it down because you think they don't want to hear an F-bomb? Like, look, when I do a show, I love people. I don't like everybody, but it's on an individual basis, and it's over dumb shit, like you cut me off or whatever. It's like when we're selfish, that's when it gets on my nerves. But when I go out, I gotta like tell what I'm thinking and then listen to hear, if I'm on the right note, and I'm not out to offend anyone, but I have to risk that, or there's no chance at art or laughter. You know what I mean? There's no way. Sometimes we're just so afraid that if we all ran down that like safety line, we would never grow. You can't grow you can't grow
inside the box.
If you're afraid to offend your family, I mean, think about anyone that was doing anything crazy in your family. They're like doing meth right there in your living room, watching a shitty TV show, balls hanging out, you know what I mean? Like missing work. And you're just like, hey, I don't want to offend you, but could you put your balls away and get the fuck off my couch? Like, you know what I mean? Do you think you could get a job and maybe we get you to rehab and I love you? Like, you have to be ready to offend. Like, it's got to come from a good place. Yeah, but
intention matters.
No, you got to cut that safety net though. If you really want to reach the higher note, you have to.
But I think you make people feel comfortable first, like with your noodling
joke.
Yeah,
noodling, yeah.
Like, if someone else said that, the person could have been offended. But the way you make them feel comfortable and then just bring them in.
Right, well, I hope that they can see that I'm really, honestly, I'm doing what we did when we were kids. We played, we goofed around, you know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
You play, it's conversational. I add my thoughts, my material to life, war, Ukraine, black, white, serious issues. And then I go, all right, now I got to mix them up in here and not let them know that's what we're actually talking about. You know what I mean? And sort of play with it. But, it's all different styles. That's why each individual comic can bring something different to the table. That's why we think, like, Bernie Mac, I don't think said anything political that I've heard. I'm sure he has. But his energy and entity and his voice were like, it was like hearing a music. It was so funny and just like yelling at his niece. Like, what? Like, that could be argued as offensive to some today.
Exactly.
He should not be speaking to his niece that way. Shut up. Right, that's how the problem started.
Right. Exactly. Nobody was speaking to her that way.
Yeah. So,
I'd agree.
What about you?
I feel like I think it's 1-1 now, man.
I'd say for me,
over there.
I'd say for me, I was actually a little afraid of pushing boundaries when I first started. You remember I changed the joke I was going to do the very first time I was going up to the mic, because my first joke was going to be toying with domestic violence in my marriage.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if other people are going to find that funny, or they're going to be staring at me like, damn, bitch, that's traumatic. Right? So, right. Like, you fought him? So I was like, okay, let's not tell that story.
Right.
And I shifted to the military and anti-violence, but being a soldier. So, like, how do you marry those two things? And that went really well. So I went with the safer option in that, and I feel like I've started pushing the boundaries a little bit more, toying specifically with almost what you just said, with the way he was speaking to his niece. I have my kid jokes where, people, and what's funny is you say the not cutting out the elders. The elderly are usually the people who leave the comedy show screaming, fuck them kids, with me when I step off the stage. I remember this one time with my surgery joke. When I'm starting, I was telling the lady in the front, it was an elderly woman, and I was like, I asked her if she bought her titties on AARP. I said, they said that on Amazon. And she was so excited. She followed me after the show, and then she's come to like 2 more shows after that. She thought that was the funniest doggone joke. It's just honesty. It's just being authentic, playing with you, you play with me. What's up?
Yeah, we all, like that bit, not to step onto what you're dialoguing about, but man, there's women out there that need to hear about domestic violence, and and I think with the level of it's obvious it's not a funny topic, but in hindsight, how little things broken down with your skill level as you climb in comedy, you're able to dialogue about more things. there's so many giant issues that have been broken down by great comics. It takes time to say the things that are more serious and to dialogue on them. It takes seasoning but if it's your life experience, and you break it down like that, I'm sure there's humor in that, and there's humor in the healing and where you are now, but it takes skill level. It took Chris Rock a year to dialogue about Will hitting him, and they were boys. But granted, whole different scenario, but it was a serious issue. But he broke it down and dialogued about it, and it just takes skill level. In time, you're going to switch. You know what I mean? You'll go through another phase of comedy. Who knows? You might, have a just all only women allowed in show.
I'm looking forward to
right?
it.
You just boxing gloves on. You're lining men up, knocking them out. Yo! What? I don't know.
Okay, if you guys
bring your abusive husband to my show. Do you want him knocked out? Do you want me to kick the living shit out of that asshole? Bring him in. Mama's ready to hit men. What?
Change my name to Joe Sweet.
Yeah.
Joe
You want comedy, or you want me to punch another man in the face? And all the girls cheer, punch him in the face, punch him in the face. And then 12 gay dudes in the corner, punch him in the face, punch him in the face. What? I don't know. I feel like I wanted some of the guys in the room.
He's like, just the gay ones.
Oh, shit. Okay.
There's straight guys in the back like, I don't think I've ever been violent.
I'm an ally.
What do we do? Do we cheer here or do we leave? Or get him, kick him. Bad person.
Right, you're on your own, bro.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. Okay, so, y'all, if you had to choose a comedy lineup to perform and go on tour with of three people.
Yeah.
3 comedians, dead or alive.
Ooh.
Who would you choose? You can go first, babe.
Oh, man. Well, Bernie for sure. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's hard, right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
3 comedians, and then you get to choose a host.
Okay, that helped us a little.
Yeah, I got you.
I feel like no matter what we say, somehow when this happens, Joe sneaks on the lineup.
Absolutely.
100%. You performing with him.
Yeah.
I know. Can I get a guest spot, Charlie Chaplin?
Can I get one?
I know you're not a real big talker. Can I do sometime?
Give me one, man. I'm coming for my spot. I need every opportunity. I'm going to have Martin host.
There's so many great comics, man.
Yeah, I'm going to have Martin host. Bernie Mac. Ooh.
Yeah, this is hard.
Yeah. Ooh,
there's comics that people don't know that are so good. There was a dude, you mentioned Gary Owens. Yeah. There was a dude named Mitch Mulaney out of Oakland. White dude, just so hilarious, so true himself, was in a bunch of movies with the Wayans. I think he played White Mike or something. I forget what he was. He was so talented and so good. This guy, one of the best comedians I've ever seen in my life, who had a high level of fame, and then, it kind of leveled, but he passed away from a diabetes accident, in his life. Freddie Soto, also Mexican comic, murderer, who I would bring them back. I'd still squeeze Bernie Mac in there. And Chappelle's alive, so I'm going to cheat and bring Pryor back because I got to meet this dude.
Okay.
Yeah, and Joe King gets a guest spot. I'll give you a guest spot.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Put me in there. Put me in, coach.
Yeah. Did you finish yours?
No, that's hard.
Come on, you got to give it to us.
I'm going to have Martin host, Bernie Mac.
There's so many, right? We're going to think about this question for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the answer's going to change.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I feel like I'm going to change my mind tomorrow, but okay. I'm Bernie Mac. I'm going to keep Dave Chappelle.
Come on. Da-na-na.
Listen, by the time you're done, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
We're going to have to put ourselves on the line.
Yeah.
I have Martin host, me, and I wanted to put another female on there, but
yeah, there's so many great. And Paula Bell's a murderer. You know who's a real I love her. I've seen her all. I've just when you travel around, I kept bumping into her before she really blew up. Was Gina Yashir, English comic. Man,
she is hilarious.
Gina Yashir. She
is hilarious
because here's her set, but then she can just run on thoughts and life. And Gina Yashir is. I mean, when a comedian is a comedian, it changes. They aren't female or male to me. They're comedians. And there are phases where you're like, this dude's just talking about this, and this female comic's talking about that. They're stuck in these worlds. But when they become the entity, they become the comic. They're comedians, you know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
How y'all feel about Jim Carrey?
I love Jim Carrey. As a stand-up, I don't know where he'd fit on the line. If he wants to sit in the back and make faces, I could pull it off. The guy's a genius. I just don't see him do it. I think it's going to be hard to follow, truthfully.
I would agree. I would agree.
I don't know who would be for it, so we can move on.
Okay. Have you ever been starstruck?
Yes, a couple times. I was really lucky because I was in L.A. like 2001 to 2011. And Hollywood was really amazing. It was a different Hollywood. But couple. One, I'm at my car. I get out. Across the street is Jack Nicholson, and he gets out of this car and he flips his coat over his arm. I am like, that is Jack Nicholson. And I saw two people, I'll mention the other one, older dudes. Only two people I've ever seen actually take a sport coat and throw it over their shoulder like they were skipping in the 1920s. Like who's that happy? Like who's that like da 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 da? Like who? I don't know.
Got real world problems.
Yeah. Right. So and I yelled. It's so weird. I always yell. I was like Jack, and he's like hey. And that's what I got out of him. And then I was in MGM playing blackjack with I had no money, and the whole casino got quiet, and I was like, oh, dear Lord, we're all about to die. Something bad's happening. When have you ever seen a casino freeze, right? So I'm like, someone's here. Paul McCartney walks in.
Oh, shit.
And no one was talking. I'm talking about a mobbed MGM casino. And I was like, hey, Paul, come sit down and play blackjack. Once again, I look over. He's got the coat behind his thing. He's like 70-something years old with these bouncers that look like the Oakland Raiders front line. And he peeks out and he goes, no, I'm on my way, Chip, or something like that. He said hi. And I'm like, got another one with the flip over. So, those were pretty huge, man. Like for me, Chris Rock was mind-blowing. And his kindness and his coolness. The real big celebs, man, are so cool and chill.
So down to earth.
Anyone I ever meet that is not going to be funny, who has ego, a chip, and I don't know who they are, I'm like, this dude's not going to be funny. Everyone that's like a murderer or like a real celebrity, real, they're always really nice, man. They're cool, Steve Martin, I met Steve Martin. He was like, not nice, and then I went, I'm a comedian, and then he was like, okay, take the picture. Yeah.
Oh man,
Babe, have you ever been starstruck?
Yes. I went to move to California in 2015, I think it was. And I walked into a restaurant and they could immediately tell I was not from California because I looked up and saw Keanu Reeves sitting at the table.
Okay,
I
monstrous.
did not call him. Yeah, I was like, I did not call him Keanu Reeves. I was like, John Wick! I lost my shit.
Yeah. That's monstrous. Yeah. That's
and
crazy.
The whole restaurant just got quiet and turned to look at me.
Not
I was like,
John.
Right.
I was like, oh, y'all didn't see John Wick was at the table over there?
Yeah. That's higher level.
Yeah, he was very chill. He actually just kind of he wiped his mouth with his napkin and tried to fight a smile and gave me a little wave. And he was like, hi, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell.
Sorry about your dog.
Fine. Yeah, he was like, I'm completely fine with loud noises. He just kind of made a joke of it or whatever. I was like, I'm so sorry. Hi, and everybody kind of just chuckled who is this new bitch?
That's
she ain't from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, John Wick, I just saw him. But yeah, he was just sitting there enjoying a little coffee it was like he's just a normal freaking person. And apparently everybody decided to treat him that way that day. And I fucked it up for everybody.
Yeah.
We was cool with just being and existing in his space.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to get a little deeper. In your experiences are there expectations different for male and females, or the standards?
In
would
life
you say?
or in comedy?
In comedy.
Oh, 100%. Like it's really like it's usually unfunny men, misogynists like that are really they'll do it so sneaky. They aren't gonna do it in front of like a room of comics. They're gonna poke at you when no one's around. It's very well played. It's really gross. And as I think I said earlier, like I had friends like who were female comics who were jumping and doing really well, and they're on the road, and they educated me. They're like, okay, so the headliner is berating me, telling me, women aren't funny, women aren't funny, women aren't funny. I go up, I had a really good set, but I got to tell you, I felt so awful. And I go, well, you're in your room now. She goes, wait, now he's calling my room and saying, let's hang out and have drinks, and let's hang out. So he's trying to like break her, hook up, break her, whatever that is called.
Manipulation.
And then I just was like, look, go in late, don't let them have any access to your head, stay away. I usually tell people to stay away from other comics because it's energy, and you have to find out who's cool and who's genuinely not like vampiring you with or trying to break and ruin you. And I said, hide, go right in as the clock is, crush, get the F out of there, change your room. She did. She murdered all week. That dude never said anything, but it's way harder on a female comic. It's going to be harder on a black female comic. It's going to be harder on a black female gay comic. And it's not going to be harder for any other reason except some people are going to have whatever they have or what their funny is or what their issues are. But what I do know, the positive element is funny wins, man. And you just pound it through. Small circle, so you don't let any of them in, which we don't know in the beginning. You just have to have a small circle when you're in art, period, or maybe in life, period, when you're running up. But in comedy, it can get really unhealthy, and it's 90% of these people that have nothing to do with comedy, and they just don't know it. They just don't know they have nothing to do with comedy, But as you go up, there'll still be more difficulty, but you have to have your circle. And you know what? I put people on lists. I've always been a list keeper. I'm like, yeah, dude, I remember that shit. Got you right here. I'm not going anywhere. We'll meet again, and I'll have a position, and you will not be a player in whatever I'm involved in, So, but it is harder. I believe so because for some reason, people also feel the right to give opinion. How do you give opinion? Like, how do you give opinion to someone like Joe? I'm really weird with the military already. I was also raised by a single mom, so I'm a little weird there too. So I'm like, who are you giving opinion to? Like, just shut your mouth. She's got 1 million followers on TikTok. I think she's doing fine. Yeah. She was a sergeant. She was a sergeant in the Army. I think she's fine. Yeah, I don't think she's being polite, but I don't know if you noticed her Wonder Woman bracelet. But yeah.
That is the one.
Yeah. So like, for some reason they do that, and just take names. Just take names,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I thought that it would be a bias from a customer standpoint when I joined comedy, when people said it was harder for women in that sense. I thought because an audience usually doesn't find women funny. That's what I was told. And I was told by some men who go to comedy shows, like, I don't find women funny, but I found you funny. So it just affirmed in my head or confirmed that, most audience don't really.
Is that a backhanded compliment?
It definitely was to me. But I don't think he meant it as one. I think
that's like
he
saying
meant
you
it
pretty
as,
for a black girl.
Yeah. It was like, I don't like female comics, but I liked you. And it was like, thank you. I know how he meant it, right? So I took it for what it was.
It's their own ego trying to keep you in a place that's not like equal.
So I was expecting it from there. Where I wasn't expecting the bias or the disadvantages was amongst other comics. I wasn't expecting there to be a double standard amongst other comics who are going through the same thing that you're going through. We're all out here trying to get spots, right? We're all out here trying to get on stages, and I love networking and collaborating with other comedians and picking their brains, even if you need help with writing. Like, I love just collabing and that energy that you said. It's this fire, and it's so much fun. But I was very surprised to see that when it comes to art, a lot of people only see the competition part, and they can't see where the collaboration makes us stronger as artists. So a lot of the pushing of boundaries as far as trying to put you in your place, trying to always over-sexualize you to dismiss what it is that you're saying, or trying to use your emotions and your boundaries as why you just misunderstood a joke. And it's like, no, a joke is supposed to be funny. You just tried to violate my boundary, and you're trying to get me to wave it off because we're comics, and that's not okay. Right? So...
it's funny. How come... I don't think people are really against being sexualized. It just so happens they're never attractive. You know what I mean?
The boldest people are not
How come that
attractive.
asshole can't be just like some smoking hot woman who's like, I own this club, get on your knees. Oh, okay.
Right. Nope. It's
Really?
always
Oh,
some
yeah.
No, but
belly
when they-
fish
I feel
when
so
they're
bad about
lesbian
myself.
too.
When they're attractive, people still have a problem
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, right.
Megan Thee Stallion
I'm
and
just
Janelle
being-
Monáe at Essence Festival. It's a
Whoa.
whole uproar because
Wow.
they had women twerking on stage.
Yeah.
So would you rather it be in a line, in a performance like Beyonce? Because she has her dancers twerking. I don't get it.
Yeah. People just want to be able to state an opinion. That's all it is.
It's also, and there's, and just to go along with what you said, there's no competition. When you go to an audition, the three of us go to an audition. I'm not competing against you. If they want Jess, they want Jess. If they want you, they want you. If they want me, they want me. That part, the unhealthy part of the artist, swims in. They're delusional if they think there's a competition. Mm-hmm. And I learned, a lot of what I learned was just by getting run down in Hollywood by so many incredible comics, like, not one weigh-in, like every weigh-in there's like 75,000 weigh-ins that do comedy. So when you hear like a weigh-in's popping in, like Damon or somebody, you're like, everyone's like, oh, Damon's popping. I'm like, no, there's going to be like 12 hilarious people, and you're going to have to go up. And you're like, I have to compete. No, if Butch Bradley goes up after any level of comic, and I just enjoy my ride, it's going to be whatever the ride is. There is no competition for you. You have zero competition. It's all us versus us. It's difficult to always believe that because we're comics and we're a little effed up. But if you go to, I'm on a murderous Cellar lineup right now. Murderous. And I'm going on last every night. But that feeling is Hollywood in New York. And, let go of what they're doing. I sort of enjoy it, and then I go out and I just go into my voice. And when my voice comes along, when I go out my way and the audience comes along, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, already they're like, oh, this is someone interesting and new. So it isn't true that I'm competing. But I understand that. But no one's competing. You go to an audition for 30 people that may feel similar to you. They're not you. There's no Joe King. We have to remember that,
I agree. Well, we're going to be wrapping up here soon. Butch, can you
I
tell
have
the
another
people
few
where
things
to
I have
find
to say.
you?
Don't listen. I'm taking over from here.
Go ahead.
Listen. No.
Tell them where they can find you and any new projects that you may have coming up.
Oh, thank you. So I'm at the LA Comedy Club 5 nights a week, Thursday to Monday here in Vegas at the Strat.
Y'all, he is hilarious.
Yeah.
I've seen his set probably like 10 times, and I laugh every single
Every
time.
I do. Yeah, I do pretty much a new show every night, new set, little pieces you might recognize. But and I'm at the Cellar tonight, 2 shows tonight here in Vegas. Find me on Instagram, add my TikTok. I'm in the process of adding like 200 pieces of my crowd work. So add me, reshare me. Thanks for having me here. And
you guys can find him at Butch Bradley Comedy on all social media platforms, guys.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and as you know, I am your host, Joe King. I've got my beautiful co-host with me,
JD, a.k.a. Sunshine.
Super excited to have you here, Butch. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
You are
you.
always fun to be around. I like to call you friend and not just mentor. He doesn't like when I call him my mentor, but he has mentored me so much. He just offers these
Thank
little
you.
gems
I appreciate it.
in random conversation, and I go home and write them down like Butch said. And then Butch said.
I'm just listening. It comes from somewhere else.
Absolutely. I 100% believe that. They're just little gems the universe
Tell that to
uses
Joe?
Butch to tell
Okay.
me.
Can I keep that one for me? All right.
Yes, it's amazing. So I was really excited to have you be a part of the show, so thank you so much for saying
Thank you
that.
so much. I was so pumped to be here. You guys are so cool for having me.
Absolutely, guys, and you know where to find us every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, right here, Laugh Therapy. We hope you guys enjoyed our show tonight. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.